All right, folks, I made it to the customer's house. It's Granny sitting over there. Tell everybody hi, Granny.
Hey, how you
We're
doing?
working on her pooling or poling, however y'all want to pronounce it. Got to do a little work to the deck down here. I'll try to get it down there where you can see it. I'm not very good at this camera stuff. But I just want to spread the love and joy through the world and let everybody know that God is the only thing you can turn to. He'll never fail you. And if you're lost and don't know Jesus, you need to come to know him. So we'll probably be in some conversation over here and may not be able to see me too well. I've got some other stuff ordered to hold my camera a little better. But anyway, I hope you enjoy this.
Are we still on?
Oh, yes, ma'am. We're going to record it.
Oh, boy. This lawnmower probably is 5 or 6 years old. I don't know what it cost back then.
Oh, I imagine it was $1,000 at least.
Yeah. Well, see, my brother now that I about got that note off, he hadn't never mentioned it.
Right,
He told me to go get it and use it. He was paying me pretty much.
right.
And so in August I'll have that note, and I thought I'd send him a couple of payments, and I figured about $1,000.
Right.
That's gonna shock him. He's gonna tell me not to, but I'm up here. I feel like I need to.
You going to regardless, huh?
Yeah, because I wore it out. And he was nice enough to let me use it.
What, he buy a new mower or something?
Well, he moved to Arkansas.
Oh,
And he was in Houston, and he's got the home place out here, Mother and Daddy's.
right.
And so he bought this mower and was going to keep it out there, and about every month at least, somebody would bring it
Right.
trailer too. But it wasn't less than a year probably. His wife got transferred to Arkansas, this real good job, and so his company transferred him up there too. And he stored it up at Allen's Road.
So,
And
now where's your mother's old place?
out, you know where's 2866 there on 83?
You talking about the County Line Road?
Yeah.
Mhm.
You turn on the farm road there and go,
Like if you was gonna come out, that road comes out just up here south of Bronson, right?
yeah, no, 96
Okay.
up there. That's the Centerview community out in there.
Okay.
Mother and Dad live about halfway through there. If you turn on 83 and go that way, they live on the right, about 2 or 3 miles up that farm road, or maybe 4.
What was your maiden name up there?
Beecham.
Beecham. You're fine. You're fine. I'm just gonna get this right here. So is there any more of y'all around here?
Alvin lives in Rosedine. He bought a place up there. He's got a nice place. And my other brother Charles, he's still in Arkansas. And Lamar lived in Houston for years, but then his kids kind of moved out around Odessa, so he moved out there.
Right.
He died around 2 years, I guess.
Yeah, because you had been out there to visit Leslie and Taco, and then I turned around and go right back, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah. He died July 7th. He was our oldest brother. I didn't have a
Well, you know, I've been thinking about the love of God, and kind of talking loud so that camera can hear me too. But you know, I think there's 3 different aspects of love you can think about in the Bible when it comes to God and love. You've got like the benevolence of love, and you've got the like the benefits of His love, where it says that He reigns on the just as He reigns on the.
yeah.
You know, God still blesses
Yeah.
sinners.
Yeah.
You know, He still makes sure
Right.
some people's got money, or some people get rain for their hay fields.
That's right. Yeah.
And then you've got salvation love, saving love,
Mm-hmm.
which is different. And when it talks about God hates, it's really kind of confusing. And I wouldn't want to try to confuse a young Christian with it, but God does hate, but that's talking about the non-repentant sinner. He doesn't like hate them because we can't understand the way God hates. He hates perfectly. We can't do that.
That's right. Yeah.
Because we have emotional attachment. God has no emotions because he's a spirit.
Right.
So we can't think the same hate as we read about in the Bible. God hating and God hating. It's still hate, but it's more of a really, really dislikes instead of a hate.
Right.
But you know, as I was, like I told you, you know, God doesn't send the sin to hell. He sends the sinner to hell.
Right.
I mean, they sin themselves because they didn't repent.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna build a sermon out of that.
Well, that sounds good, Joe. I enjoy your preaching.
Thank you. But yeah, I'm gonna bring a sermon out of that, and gonna have I think it's gonna turn out good.
Yeah.
And you getting ready to head out to way up in the country, ain't you?
Yeah, Saturday. Yeah.
You excited about your flight? Are you excited about your flight?
No, I'm trying to. I don't feel like I'm worried about it. You know, used to, I just wouldn't fly at all.
Right.
But I'm not nervous though right now, and I don't think I will be. It's been 2 years though since I flew. I would rather drive, and I know that sounds like kids that running the roads is dangerous too.
Yeah, that's a long ways to drive by
And
yourself.
I wouldn't go by myself, and the kids would disown me if I did. But it's nobody that's gonna want to go and stay 2 weeks like I do, because that's now Pat, my sister-in-law, went one time with me, and we drove about 5 or 6 years ago. Well, it's been a while, and it was a good trip. We had a good time to stay 10 days. But she's not like me, that all that traffic makes her, she just don't like it. Don't like to get too close.
I don't blame you.
Yeah. And before we got up there on 81 that goes into the road that turns into Maryland, go to Maryland, it was about 4 lanes on each side, and the second one, and it was bumping up.
Right.
And then they had a wreck, and we just had to sit there for a while, but she would go back. Sydney's youngest girl was a senior, and I don't remember. She graduated in 17, I think.
Right.
So that's when we went. She was in October. She was playing volleyball, and they had won state the year before, and they were going back, had lost any, and I'd not get to see her play any, so I took 10 days off, and we got to watch her play some volleyball. So it's been that long. That's 17 and 27 and 12. 5 years. It's been at least 5 years. And I still survived.
Yeah, I think you went up there for her graduation, didn't you?
I didn't get to go to hers, but she graduated. Well, that's true. She graduated. There was something going on. She had her graduation. It was her college graduation in 20. That it was just, they didn't have it because of COVID.
That's right. You know, I had to go to a maintenance leadership academy with TxDOT, and I was one of those. We did the last 120 hours of that course online.
Well, that's the way they had her name come up on the screen. I seen it at the, you know, that was the only way. I did go to Cindy's oldest daughter. None was so sick when she graduated high school that I didn't want to leave him, so I didn't get sick. But I did go to her first college graduation in Maryland.
Right.
Me and Martha and Burrow's youngest daughter went to that. We were.
I told you my wife's gonna go back to school.
Yeah, that's good. Leah went to 4 years at the University of Maryland, and then she got into the med school there at Virginia Tech.
I thought about trying to go to an online seminary study, but I don't know that it would matter.
Yeah.
that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know it. The way you preach, God just lays it on your heart, I think.
Right. And you know, I've been under some of the best training in the world, in my opinion. With Brother Don, and I mean, I remember all them Curtis Harrington and Ben Gibbs. And,
I know.
I mean, that's the people I grew up listening to.
Well, see, little Burl is that way. He kind of reminds me of Brother Ben so much, pattern after him. But and I know little Burl has to be God called because he was the kind of kid. He was backward, couldn't talk to other people. He was just backward.
Right.
So when he got to be 19, well, when he was little, he always. He would preach to me, but,
Right.
but I never thought about him being a preacher back in the day, but then I wasn't surprised when he surrendered to preach.
Right, exactly.
But he, and he don't have any notes.
I've never heard him preach. I want to go preach. I want to go hear him preach.
He's loud like Brother Ben and all, but I mean, he's a little.
I get loud sometimes.
Yeah. Brother Don used to more than he does now. He's got older. Brother Ben, as he got older, he kind of quieted down some.
I'm 47.
Are you 47?
We was 8 years old when my mother took us to the Dependent Baptist, so I've been listening to Brother Don 39 years.
He's a good preacher, Brother Don is.
And I've visited other churches.
Yeah.
I have. Not like recently, but I have visited other churches. But after you listen to what I've listened to my whole life with Brother Don preaching, it's hard to go sit down and listen to another preacher
That's
preach.
right. Yeah. I used to, they had a lot of revivals around and about.
Right.
And I'd go here, I go to a lot of the churches, and I think, because Bethel Chapel down here, I'll have to say, they were a friendly church, welcome people.
Right.
And some churches you go to,
they're not very welcome.
No, one time I don't know if it's Little Flock or Chief, but I was going around speaking to everybody more than the people was speaking to me. Because I know a lot of the folks, around and about.
We was on vacation in Tennessee, and that's right when I started getting back into church and serving God and living for God. And there was a little old church across the street. It said Baptist Church on it. Hey, I went over there, and it was one of your old hard shell, real Calvinistic, hard shell Baptist churches. The women was in dresses, the men was in suits and ties. And I showed up over in a pair of pants, and, a shirt where you could see my tattoos. Ooh. I'm not gonna say they didn't like me, but I could say I didn't feel welcome.
Yeah. My grandpa Beecher was a hard shell Baptist, but none of his kids. But he come from Florida, and a lot of them were still down there. In fact, I went to a reunion down there several years ago, and they took me out to the cemetery where my great-grandmother was buried, and grandfather, and there's a little primitive Baptist church there, and they still had church in it. It was just an old wood building, no air conditioner or anything, wooden pews.
Well, now that you say it, that's what that said out there on the sign, Primitive Baptist Church. Well, I called Brother Don, told him what had happened to me, and he laughed.
They believe whatever will be, and I don't know all of their beliefs, but Paul Beecher played when I was in school when he died, but I can remember.
Right.
And they would visit certain churches. One Sunday they'd be at one church serving, and the next, and about every 5 weeks he'd come back around. He used to have singing control. He was good at singing, and I wasn't old enough to.
And it was what kind of church?
It was a pretty hard shell.
I've asked several times to preach at several of these missionary Baptist churches. I don't know why. I've asked a bunch of people, a bunch of different preachers. Hey, when y'all have a revival, let me come preach one night.
Yeah.
Just to preach, just to.
Well, somebody, Mr. Leo's brother, Leo Wright, just I went to his funeral Saturday evening.
Leo Wright.
Yeah, he's preached at several missionary Baptist churches around here. But somebody told me the other day, said, oh, he's the preacher that wouldn't pastor a church by a cemetery.
Really?
I said, well, I didn't know that. I'd never heard that. He preached down at Bethel Chapel when we didn't have a pastor at time or two.
Right.
I was raised, his youngest sister, oldest sister was my good buddy in school, and I was in their house in and out a lot growing up, so I felt like I would go to the funeral.
Right.
And it was a good service. Jeff Boyd spoke.
Did he? I like Jeff.
Yeah, he did a good job. He knew the family well. His daddy graduated with Leo, and I guess the family wanted him to speak. Leo that might have been his wish too. I don't know. But he wasn't a dynamic preacher, Leo, like Brother Ben and Brother Curtis.
Did he preach at Long Pines?
No, he never did.
Never did preach there.
That was that place here.
Well, folks, I didn't do a whole lot of explaining on that, but putting a deck spindle on a lawnmower is pretty simple. Didn't even have to pick it up. All I had to do was lift the deck, put it on there. Put the belt back on, and we're finna crank this thing up and see if the mower deck will come on.
It's got water on the seat. Let me get that. Dump that over there on something for you. Oh, look, the seat come off. Golly.
Yeah, they make some adhesive that we need to get. I'll order a tube of it. I got a couple more lawnmowers at the house. I need to fix the seats on.
I might put some tape on it.
Well, I'm fine. You know, if you put that tape on there and it sets out in the sun,
Oh yeah, it's sticky on it.
it will. Well, if you want to try it,
Well, I can.
it don't matter to me. Granny's finna try out this lawnmower. All the way up. Push it all the way up. There you go. Yes, ma'am. It works. That was just an old used deck spindle I had at the house. Help this lady out. Like I said, she's on a fixed income. And, hey, she's the finest Christian woman you'll ever meet. She plays the piano for me at the church where I lead the singing. All honor and glory and praise to God. Amen. If you watch this video to the end, give me a like and a thumbs up and a follow. I'd appreciate it. God bless.